you for joining me.
No problem, of course. Thank you for having me here.
Absolutely. So I want you to first of all tell me about yourself, tell me your name, about your brand, and what led you to make this happen.
Okay, my name is Fredeshia Neely, the creator of HeirWealth, and my brand is basically a financial literacy platform that wants to empower women at the same time. So I was led to create it because I just saw the need of financial literacy in the Bahamas. It's so important, but it's so scarce, or the information is so hard to find, or some people may find it difficult to even understand, but I'm just like, we need this though. Like, to function in life, it's not taught in schools, it's not readily available. Someone has to be putting it out there, and the way people just get it like that.
That's good. And the way that you feel about finances is the way that I feel about the creative world.
Yes.
I feel like it's just like how you said, it's not really discussed in the schools.
Right.
And it's not broken down in a way to where people feel like it's accessible.
Yes.
Or people feel like, oh, I can do this. So I think that's phenomenal what you're doing. What I want to find out from you is, how would you define the term creative?
Oh, that's a good question. So I would say creativity is anything that is different, some innovation or some build up of something we already have, and we take a change or make a change out of that to present it in a different way.
Absolutely.
That also expresses ourselves.
That's good.
Yes.
That's really good. And what caught my eye about HeirWealth is the way that you presented it. At first, I didn't even realize that it was financial literacy because it was just so pretty. I was like, oh, what's this?
Yeah.
It caught my eye and I was like, hold on, what's this? And then when I started to look through it, I was like, oh, this is good. Because
Yeah.
like you said, financial literacy is something that is really important, especially for women.
Yeah.
And the reason why I say especially for women is because I've noticed, now of course it varies, but I've noticed a lot with women, we tend to be emotional buyers.
Yes.
If we're, I know one thing about me, if I'm celebrating something, I buy in something. If I sad, I buy in something. But when you are able to teach women like, hey, don't necessarily like be smart about it when you're
Yes.
doing it. I think that makes all the difference because I've noticed with men when they make, now sometimes they do make emotional purchases.
Right.
But more times they're not, they're like, okay, how does this serve me? What purpose is this purchase for?
Yes.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So I love what you're doing for women.
Okay, well, thank you so much, first of all, for complimenting my platform, because, I just want to capture the eye of people, and I thought it would be a real aesthetic way to capture women, because that is my target audience, so I'm glad it's working. And people come up to me all the time, like, oh, that's you, or you make, who was making that for you? I'm like, me, girl, like, I sitting down, putting these together, taking my time doing this. But as it relates to that, because women are more emotional and carry a lot of burden, I do promote financial wellness. This is where we entail the mental aspect of it as well. Because like you said, when we're not having a good day, we're gonna buy ourselves a treat. we're gonna take a trip, or we're gonna need to go to the spa. Something is gonna be an impulse buy, but that's not the root cause. Maybe you're not doing well mentally.
Ma'am?
You're really sad, you're stressed out.
Yeah.
So we need to bring it back to that, define the root cause. Maybe we need to go for a walk. That's free. Go to the beach and calm down first, and let's see if this decision is making sense before we go and purchase a new purse.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. And you're so right, because there's a root to everything.
Yes.
And once we get to that root, we are now able to be a more healed version of ourselves.
Right.
And
Yeah.
we're not making decisions out of trauma.
Yeah.
So I think that's phenomenal. Any platform that has a component of mental health in it is something that I absolutely stand by.
It's all tied in though. And I mean, we all have our slip ups and we make mistakes. Like me, like I'm going to go to Starbucks unnecessarily sometimes, but it's like we have to pull back and see, why are we doing this?
Right.
So with Women to Why I did target this audience is because we have a lot of the burden on ourselves. Like I said, most of the times we take care of kids, we take care of everyone before ourselves. We're nurturers, we're overthinkers, and that's why men dominate this industry.
Right.
Though it may be a lot more women working in finance, if we look at the top and we look at the people who are investing, taking more risks, negotiating, it's men. So I'm glad, it's reaching out to the hearts of women, and hopefully they understand the financial wellness part of it and take care of their mental health first,
So
and know
good.
that they can do it.
That is so good. I love that. I love that. And I'm realizing now there's so much more depth to what it is that you do.
Yeah.
Because when I first saw it, I didn't even know it was you. I saw it and I was like, oh, this is nice. And then I started looking and I was like, wait a minute, it's Freddie.
Yeah.
And I thought that was so dope. And what you're saying is so powerful. What you're saying is so true. And I am really happy to be having this conversation with you.
Thank you.
I really am, because it needs to be said.
Yeah.
I didn't even know, like how you said just now, but I didn't even realize it.
Yeah.
You're right. When you look at it at the top, you typically see men when there are these different seminars, workshops, whatever, on financial wellness. The speakers or the guest speakers are typically
Look
men.
at the top of it, yeah.
Right. So it's like, okay, we have HeirWealth.
Yes.
Who can speak on, train, empower, teach women to say, listen, this is what you are worth. This is how you negotiate.
Exactly.
This is why we do not impulse spend.
Yes.
This is why a budget is important. Because when you think about it, budgeting is really you taking care of yourself.
Ooh, that's deep.
Think about it.
Yeah.
Because
self-care action.
That's self-care. Because if you sit down and you're intentional and you say, okay, this is how much money I have. How am I going to now take care of it? And how am I going to split it apart? What am I going to spend it on? Because at the end of it, you won't typically have regrets because you sat down, you were intentional. That's a form of self-care.
Right. And you know, the thing is, the average Bahamian or average person, because it's not only in the Bahamas, just doesn't do that. It's not something that we're trained to do. It's not talked about in the homes. We go to school, but we don't talk about it. We spend money freely. And then, we also use this term, I don't know where the money going.
Mom?
As soon as you get $100 and you break it go.
Do you have any advice if there's someone who's like, I'm an impulse spender, I just can't stop spending money, I don't know what my problem is.
Yeah.
What are there any steps that you would say, okay, hey, before you spend this money, consider doing X, Y, Z?
Yeah, I'm an advocate for, talk to a therapist.
Hello, Jesus and therapy.
Yeah, and Jesus, talk to him too, cast your anxieties onto him. But it's something that's so taboo here that's not our first thought to ever do.
No.
Other than that, there are free things that we can do that will bring joy to our lives. Taking a walk, talking to a friend, going to the beach, and just find someone that you can confide in. If you don't have that person, write it down.
Yeah.
Write a letter. Cast in all of your worries, all your troubles. Rip it up or burn it. And those are simple things that you can do. Or maybe self-care. You can do this at home. Maybe a facial. Relax, and this can make you feel better mentally. Going to the gym, that helps me. That's a personal one. So there are different things that you can do to get your finances back on track and keep your mental health intact at the same time.
Right. And I think another thing that people don't really talk about a lot is it's okay to seek help.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yes.
That's why we have professionals. That's why we have HeirWealth.
Yes.
Because if we knew how to manage our own finances, we wouldn't need your brand.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of times people are afraid to reach out because money is such a touchy subject.
Yes.
Like when you see where people are spending their money, that's something that it's very vulnerable.
Yeah.
So do you take any methods to where, your clients know, hey, what we discuss is confidential, it's not going to go anywhere. How do you make them feel comfortable when dealing with money?
That is stated and also written in any documents that you do get back. You will have a confidentiality clause in there. Like, I'm not going to be talking your business to someone else. This is for the purpose of this assessment only or this consultation only. Or if I have to do any more work with you or follow up along the way, otherwise we don't speak about it. We build a relationship and we could talk about anything, but this stays solely with me. Because it's so, like you said, touchy, it's so personal. Maybe you have something that you're hiding, that you're spending money on that you don't want to do. I'm not, no, we're not going to speak about it. And then here we also live in a culture where people like to watch you. We say it like that. Watch what you're doing. Like, no, it's not that type of energy over here. It's very professional, very confidential, and a safe space for women. Your financial safe space. I have that in my bio too. So,
I love it.
Yeah, don't talk to me. It's none of that.
That's good. What are your thoughts on bank accounts when it comes to marriages, partnerships, etc.? How do you think that should be handled?
So in marriage, his, hers, and joint.
Okay.
Because we're not going to do this thing that happens in some cases where one person controls all the finances. Because if something does happen to your partner, God forbid, you're going to be completely lost. So this happens a lot of times, or even if y'all break up or whatever it may be, or if you need to get out as a woman from a certain situation,
Right.
you won't know what to do and you won't be empowered through your finances. So his and hers, you have your personal money in your joint account is where you put your mortgage, your bills, child expenses in that one. So you should have 3 accounts. I mean, just between you and your husband, but I don't recommend one account either.
Okay.
Because, I mean, if you want me to go into that, I can.
I mean,
Okay. So here's how we break up accounts, because one account will not work.
right.
You need a separate account for your emergency savings. You need a separate account for your spending that is connected to your card. And you can have a separate account for something, say, like a college fund or your child or something that you're saving from. But what we don't want is for all of these to be in one account, because you're going to get confused. You have to separate it.
Okay.
Yes. So I'm not an advocate of having one account.
Okay. And that's whether you're married or single. You need to have more than one account.
Yeah, I have several.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Okay, fantastic. That's
Yeah,
good.
open your accounts.
Okay, that sounds good. Now, I know that there are a lot of people who are struggling with debt.
Yes.
And I didn't realize how bad the debt was in the Bahamas until I was in a specific, I was working in some, I can't remember, I was helping somebody out with something. And while we were having the discussions, they were essentially kind of like talking to me about different things. And I was like, I didn't know it was this bad.
Yeah, it's horrible.
So for those who are struggling with debt and they're like, okay, but I don't know where to start. I just feel like I just have so many bills and I'm in over my head. What advice would you give to them?
Right. First of all, mentally is so stress and inducing.
Yeah.
It causes anxiety. It causes depression. Some of you, because it's such a great weight when you don't have freedom with your income.
Boy.
And you don't know where this money is going to come from. This because they're taking the money out before you touch it. If you have a deduction, that's coming out before you even see it at any point. So what we have a lot here of in the Bahamas is predatory lending.
Wow.
Because you could be sitting there minding your business, or here comes a phone call, you qualify for this amount. Or here comes an email, it's Christmas, you will go take a loan because it's Christmas, do some Christmas shopping. What is a Christmas loan? It's let's take out this loan for vacation. And it sounds so good up front. Like, oh, these people calling me, I getting a break. No, the interest is literally going to stress you out later. And the time you're going to take to pay it off is not worth it.
Wow.
So for the next 10 years, you're going to be paying off a vacation loan that you run on for 1 week. Basically.
1 week?
Depending on how much you take out, yeah.
1 week, you paying that off for 10 years?
It depends on how much you take out.
But even if you pay off 1 week for 5 years, that's still long.
So because of the interest, you're gonna pay double, triple at the end of the day. So you're thinking you're looking at that number, but no, it's gonna be double, triple at the end of the day.
Wow.
And you could just be minding your business, and they're gonna call you with this. And if you don't have the background or know the knowledge about finances, you're gonna accept this because I want to take my family, or I want my family to have a good Christmas, or I want to do this and this. But no.
Yeah.
And then you get so stressed out at the end of the day. But there's 2 different strategies you can take to approaching that. You can either kill the one that has the biggest interest.
Okay.
Which these are typically credit cards that have big interest, for example. We can either get that one out first, or we can go to the smallest loan you have, which would probably be like the vacation loan if you took that, or a small personal loan, and do that one first and take steps to get to the larger ones. So we are going to eliminate debt by creating a sinking fund, and it's called a debt sinking fund. So this is money that we put aside each pay period, because it's different for everyone. We put aside this money so that we could at least take off 1 extra payment per year. And over time, or say you have a mortgage, over time, this may look like a few years off by just paying 1 extra payment per year.
Wow.
So you get to pay this off earlier and take the burden off of you.
Wow.
Yes.
And to someone who's not in the finance world, that actually sounds kind of crazy, because it's like, but I already tell you I in debt.
Yeah.
And you want to now take money away to put it aside, but it's all about the long game.
Yeah.
Essentially, you're planning and you're saying, hey, this is how we're going to do it.
Right.
And I think it's important too for people to trust the professional, because you know exactly what you're doing.
And we're not going to take another loan because we can miss the vacation.
Yeah.
But like your mental health or the headache that comes with it afterward is just not worth it.
No.
Because you're going to be doing this for years for one small period of having fun or living lavish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree. So I think we should also talk about how it is when people, when they're applying for a job
Yes.
and they're like, okay, well, I don't know how much I should ask for. I don't know where to start. Okay, maybe I should just, well, they pay me a little bit more than I used to anyway, so maybe I should just accept it.
Yeah.
What do you think is important when it comes down to negotiating?
So as women, we are less risk adverse than men,
Right.
naturally. And we also tend to never negotiate. We take what is given to us because we have burdens in most cases. We have the children we're taking care of. We have mom that we're taking care of. We have ourselves that we're trying to get to. We're so engulfed in everything that we're just going to take what's given to us because it can help at the time. But what I do recommend you going into, if there is an application that asks for your salary, you skip that. You either put that's not available, defer it, or we will speak upon it in the interview.
Okay.
So when we do get an interview, a good way to speak about this is saying, oh, well, I do want to be based on a competitive salary and not what I used to make in the past. Then we're going to discuss that in the interview. This is something that we typically just don't even bring up.
Right.
We just take what's presented in front of us. And what we're going to do from here is note that this is business. So in most cases, there is a cap that they have for your salary, but they're going to lowball you.
Right.
Because it's going to save them money on the bottom line. So when you do get this offer, in most cases, you can ask for more.
Okay.
Because there is a budget.
Because they would they would never offer you the max.
And I don't want to say never.
Okay.
But in most cases, if you look at it, you're not going to get the max. There's more room in the budget for you to ask for a few, not too much now, don't do too much, but a few thousand more. It's there, it's budgeting in, and you're negotiating. So you're going to use negotiation tactics in there, and they're going to be doing the same thing.
Right.
But you have to remember that you are powerful, you're empowering yourself, and you are the asset. So if they want you, they're going to hire you.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think it's important to note too that yes, you need a job. Yes, you need money.
Yes.
You think that you need to take care of, but at the end of the day, they also need you.
Yes.
They need your skills. They need the value that you bring. So when you go into that interview, I think it's important to not go into it thinking, okay, well, at least it's something. Well, it's better than nothing. No, if you go into it with that mindset where you're already settling, you're going to take whatever they give you. And that's why I love when there are women like yourself who are like, no, it's okay to be direct.
Yeah.
It's okay to say, this is what I want, this is what I deserve.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, if you go into a job, you're already taking less than you know that you want or know that you deserve, and then you're getting work twice as hard.
Yes.
What are you going to say? See, I might as well have asked for more.
Exactly.
I know I should ask them for more because I remember one thing that my daddy told me, and I'll never forget it.
Right.
He said, when applying for a job, more times than not, that's when you are the most valuable. And he said, it's easier to ask for what you want right out of the gate than to ask for a raise.
Later on.
He's
absolutely right.
And when he said, and he told me this years ago, and I've never forgotten it.
Yeah.
So I'm like, Darian, when you go into an interview, I mean, I work for myself now, but you never know. But if I go into an interview, go into it knowing, hey, this is the time to ask for what I want.
Yeah.
Because if they never give me a raise,
you ask for it up front, and that has good advice. But then we think about the women who don't have that advice in their lives.
Right.
Because otherwise, socially, we're taught to stay quiet, to submit, to just say yes, to be okay with what we're given.
Right.
So that's typically why we won't go on and ask for more, ask for what we want, what we deserve, what we have worked for to get to this point.
Right.
So your dad, thank you for saying that, because the girls need to hear it.
Yes, the girls do need to hear it. That's so good. So I think, so we talked about that. We talked about knowing your value, knowing your worth. And we talked about the correlation between mental health and spending. Is there anything else that you want to add?
Yeah, sure. So I just wanted to add, well, thank you so much for having me here, for choosing me. I'm very pleased, very honored. But also, come and talk to me or talk to someone. Find someone to confide in. My DMs are open. I offer free consultations. And everything that you say is confidential. It's within the work we do or if we need to do a follow-up. Other than that, we're just building a relationship. We're having fun. We're two girls talking about how we can better ourselves
Right.
as a whole later on.
Right.
So it's very community-based. I just wanted to say, yeah, thank you for having me.
And last but not least, what services do you offer? What can we expect from you?
Oh, yeah. So, we have a lot that's coming behind. But currently, like I said, we have the free consultations. We have budget assessments. So that's with the 50, 30, 20 budget or the zero-based budget, which I do prefer the zero-based because we get to track every dollar that we earn. Then we also do savings assessments or saving strategies where you get a strategy on how you want to save for this goal. Say in January, you want to buy a new car. We're going to get that date, note your income, and see how we can work towards that.
Okay.
And you're going to get a spreadsheet on how you're going to build up to that. So that's very goal-based.
Okay, cool. So, so thank you for what you are doing. Thank you for empowering women. Thank you for giving us free resources.
Oh, thank you.
And I do want to say, don't just accept the free resources. Yes, they're good. And yes, we're grateful for it. But make sure that you support a fellow sister. Okay? Support a fellow sister. What she's doing, what her brand is doing for us, for women all throughout the Bahamas. And who knows, yes, you may be working with women in the Bahamas, but HeirWealth may be a global brand.
Yeah, it is.
It is.
Speaking it.
It is a global brand,
it.
honey.
Yes.
So let's make sure to put our money where our mouth is and be sure to, take advantage of the free consultation, but to also invest in what she's doing because investing in HeirWealth essentially is investing in you.
Yes.
That sounds like a commercial. I like that.
No, it really is so true, though. Like you mentioned, that is self-care. When we take care of ourselves, take care of our finances, it gives us options. It gives us opportunity to go out and do what it is we want to do.
Yeah.
And I think you forgot to mention, we do have some stuff in store.
We do.
So stay tuned. We are going to be here planning some events, some community-based things for us to get together and evolve as women in the Bahamas.
Let's do it.
Yes.
I love it. Well, thank you so much for being here.
No problem.
And we'll see you next time.
Bye.